right, so when I go back up, I'll take the uptown toward the Bronx. That'll get me back 2 stops back up to Grand Central Station. So New York has quite a network of transportation, and you have many different options. I typically like the subway system, but you could take a cab, Uber, whatever you want to take. It's not that hard to navigate. We go to a lot of the games, so it's not difficult to get to the Barclays over in Brooklyn. So basically we just go down. But I got on at Grand Central Station, and now I came down here to the Brooklyn Bridge. I just easily take the 4 or 5 Express or the 6 if I want to stop at all these different Spring, Astor, 23rd, 28th, 33, or back to Grand Central Station. If you want to go to Harlem, to the Apollo, you can go up to 125. So yes, it's not difficult. New York City is not as intimidating as many people would think it is. So, let me get back to telling this story. I'm going to back up a little bit. Apparently my headset is doing noise canceling, so it was shutting down, and that's why. So now we just have it raw. You guys tell me if you can hear me okay. If you can. What's up, Deborah? How are you? Good morning to you. Good morning. Can you hear me okay? So this is the financial district for the newcomers. All right, you can hear me fine. This is where the World Trade Center went down. You can see the new building they put up. It's called the Oculus. And as I walk down further, you'll be able to see the building more clearly here. But we have all the government buildings. You can see that they're vast. So this is just a day in the life of commuting to the Sean Diddy Combs trial. I also commuted for the Donald Trump trial, which he was found guilty on 34 counts. In fact, one day I was in the courtroom. Costello, I believe, was the attorney that really ticked off the judge. They had a very contentious situation. So the judge kicked everybody out of the courtroom. So here we go. That's the Oculus. That's where the World Trade Centers were. I'll show that building one of these days when I'm not rushing. So these are the municipal buildings. So anyway, let's talk about Jane Doe that came to court yesterday. They tried very hard, I guess, to hide her identity. But immediately when I came out of court, I was able to see where people stating her name online, which is a big problem. You know, this is not the first case ever, so I don't understand why they can't have a better way of hiding the identity of people, especially when you deal with cases. This is not a murder case, you know, of that sort, at least not so far. But there's some really violent cases out there. I would imagine they could do a better job at hiding identity, but anyway, it is what it is. So at any rate, she came on and she told her story just like Mia, Capricorn, Clark, Cassie, and even this girl, Bonner, which was Cassie's friends. You know, it seems that they had a network of using drugs, like a group of girls or what have you. But yesterday it came out in court that at least with Bonner, there was an attorney named Tyrone Blackburn, I believe. And they painted the picture like she went to the attorney and he beefed up her story to include SA, which is assault. I won't say the word, but assault, violating. He beefed up a lot of, so right here, yeah, on the street here, that's where I filmed the protest last week. So just to give you guys a burn, this is where they have the Hamas and the Pakistan protests here in this square, what have you. But at any rate, um, with Bonna, she went to this attorney. Actually, there was no essay for in her case, but as far as the beating goes, well, yeah, it was essay from the standpoint that while he was beating her, he touched her breast region, but it wasn't as detailed like the assaults with Cassie and Mia. But it was essay from that standpoint. At any rate, they basically break down how he was kind of, as an attorney, she fired him because he was trying to make the case a lot more than what it seemed. So yesterday, a lot of times she was saying, no, she didn't say that. But it's all in her original court filing. But when she switched and got a new attorney, all these allegations were still in the complaint or the lawsuit. So that turned out to be a really big problem. So as under cross-examination, she's basically saying, no, I didn't say that. I don't know, and things of that sort. And also she talked about how when Diddy allegedly hung her over the balcony, that her and Cassie basically had to reconstruct the story to try to make it sound real. And it makes you question the whole case now. Like, how many of these people are still talking to each other? Now, Jane, yesterday, I didn't get the feeling that she was in communication with Cassie so far, or any of the other victims. But it seems like they have the same narrative to the T. So either he had a systematic way of dealing with these women, which it appears to be that way, or somebody's coaching them to say the same exact thing. But you can see with her story, the thing that made it credible for me is that Cassie would say Diddy would have them put out 50 candles. And in her case, the Diddy's assistants would advance the rooms. But now we're hearing more details, like yesterday. Look at all the homeless people. The prosecutors are trying to really pin him down because I thought that Cassie would be the strongest witness. What I'm finding is each witness that's coming on is even stronger than the one before. And so Jane, whereas Cassie said they had 50 candles, now she's saying that there's red lights and candles. So it's upgrading. Where Cassie said they were having freak off, now years later, they're calling them debauchery nights. So where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm not saying that all of it is right, but just sitting there, just like a juror would be sitting listening, you would have to come to some conclusion that a lot of bad things were going on. And people get caught up and they say, well, the victim lied about this. A lot of it comes down to memory, especially when you're abused. So you really can't sit there and just judge people and say, oh, she said that was blue when it was really black. Oh, she never got assaulted. That's not a good approach, because then real victims end up being victimized the rest of their lives if we were to take that silly approach, right? So that's the thing. There's a big picture here. There's a lot of lies being told, and it makes it hard to see the truth sometimes. But I think the idea is with the government, they're bringing in so many witnesses with a ring. They have the same ring of truth, and I think it's going to be hard for the defense to really counter it, especially to win this case. However, it all boils down to the jurors, and that's why they were reprimanding Diddy yesterday, because when the girl Bonna had told her story about how Diddy had beat her, hanging her over the balcony and all of that, well, it turns out under cross-examination, the attorney brought out, she brought out so eloquently the hotel receipts, and it shows that Diddy wasn't even in LA at that time. He was actually in New York staying maybe like 5 days at the Trump Plaza. So when you hear all that, it really messes up with the case. And then also, we have a lot of agitators, even in the line and in the courtroom. And I'm starting to feel like, just from my own wits, that there's some bit of it's by design. Anyway, this is where we go in at here. On the left-hand side, the public, we line up. On the right-hand side is where the media lines up. I'm going to go through the comments as I go and try to grab some breakfast. Shout out to all of you guys that are liking the video and showing some support. So today, I'm number 2 in line because everybody else is media. All right, so I'll be this guy here in his place. So that makes me number 2. Now, yesterday, I almost, this gentleman here is responsible for getting me into Donald Trump's trial. This is my go-to man for that. Luigi next year. And this is my guy here. Thank you, man. Hollywood. Oh, God, man. What in the world? Yeah, we got law and crime here. Morning. All right, so let's go through a few of these comments. Let's see here. And let's see. Josh laughing out loud. This fella here is knocked out, waiting in line all night, probably. No party like a yes. Okay, a lot of letters. Okay, ain't no party like a Diddy party because the Diddy party just don't. Yeah. Well, until the feds show up, the feds will stop a party. Yo, dude, you weren't active on the Dandy's World Femboy Roleplay Discord server. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Thank you for doing this. Lynn, shout out to you this morning. Good morning. Thank you for doing this. You have a few idiots on here, but I appreciate what you do. No, don't call them idiots. They, a lot of time it's just bots. A lot of things are by design, so you can't get caught up. Now, it could be ignorant people. I mean, if you go to Walmart, you're going to run into ignorant people all the time. But they have a place. You need them, There's a reason why we have flies and so forth. They make the world go round, so I don't really be bothered by that. These people, they don't show their face. They don't even give their name. They give you 2 letters, and they sit back and type. They could be anywhere, any place. Like, I wouldn't give 2 thoughts to that. I think it's funny. Now, when they do it to children and women or what have you, it's kind of messed up, but I don't think they'd be saying it to me directly, so I ain't tripping on it. Like, here we go. I'll skip over. Okay, Pedro is Free Puff. Okay, let's turn to God. Bill, let's turn to God. Shepherd's Chapel, YouTube explains the whole Bible. God bless. All right. I appreciate you sort of advertising your channel, what have you. Just give a like and a subscribe to show some support since I'm supporting you. Okay. Deborah says this identity stuff is mixed up. Good morning. All right, Joe Flourish, yes. Okay, you can hear fine. Okay, so that's it for the comments. Okay, let's see here. Wow, we have Cindy here from Rome. Cindy, I was just in Rome. I definitely have to go back to Rome. When I was at the Colosseum, having a background in religion, it was amazing to see some of the things that I often read about and what have you. So definitely coming back to Rome, going to Pompeii was amazing, and see how that volcano kind of stopped time. I think it happened, around 79 CE, and they have a lady there that was in the shower. I guess she was doing some form of bathing. They show, and all of that volcano erupted, and these people were wiped out. Unbelievable. So thank you. Let's see, NPCs and bots for real. Yeah, there's a lot of bots. So you know, you could always tell because they'll go at your appearance, you know. I mean, that serves a purpose in life. You need people like that. Sometimes people tell you stuff that nobody else would tell you, and if you just use it, it'll help you step your game up. Maybe we need a little bit more of that because now people feel like they can just go out and do anything they want. When I was coming up, if you wore something that was kind of crazy, the kids would eat you alive. You know, they'd be talking about you all day. You go back and say, well, I won't try that again. You know? So we just have to be reasonable. But I try to be, you know, if somebody's being abusive, that's a whole different ball game. But I'm going to set up some people to start blocking people. Definitely Joe Flores, I'll give you a moderator tag so you can just, when people are out of control, you can just kick them out of there, you know what I mean? But I don't really I like to suspend people first and see if they can have a change of heart, but usually they don't, and then we'll just kick them right out of there. But thank you guys for liking. It's amazing. Yesterday, I think one video was 20,000 people. That's much different than the first day when I barely got 100. So we're growing, and with that, you're gonna get the riffraff people coming in just to agitate. So guys, I'm gonna walk by this place. I don't want to film it directly, but this is ICE. This is a place here, when you're in line here, I can imagine it's tough. So I'm gonna casually walk by so it doesn't appear like I'm just targeting them or whatever. But that's ICE right there. So people were making jokes yesterday about ICE and what have you, but a lot of these people, their whole lives is on the line, so I'm definitely not gonna make fun of anybody, especially people that have been abused. And we have people that become specialists on abuse now. And they want to tell you who was abused and who wasn't. You know, it's a very sensitive situation, and I don't think anyone should come to judgment and say, oh, this person said she wanted to do a freak off, so that means she wanted to do all freak offs. That's a person that's apparently not thinking clearly. Just because you want to do something, people have the right to change their mind. And so that's what the government is trying to paint a picture that also, you know, to be in the limelight, to have a bit of celebrity approach with you, being around Diddy, that influenced the decision making. And also the government is proving that they're trying to prove this coercion. So basically Diddy brought these women in, shut them off from their money sources, and like, yeah, get in here and do these freak offs. And basically from the one that came in yesterday, Jane, she just made it seem like, you know, once he started, it was always another debauchery night or another freak off. There was never, you know, a time where they just took a nice, had a full relationship. It was just about usury. And so this is the problem for the case. And again, you know, the truth needs to come out, but I just see an overwhelming amount of evidence. I've seen it all. I've seen Kid Cudi. I've seen Cassie. I've seen the big problem that hurts the case, that builds this case, hurts the defense, is that when they bring out those hotel records and they're showing the money movements, I mean, the government don't play any games. It has changed my mind on the way I look at things. When you have a Fed case, there's a reason why they say they have a 95% conviction rate. They have endless money to pin you to the wall, and if you're not careful, they're going to pin you to the wall. So if he could beat this case, it's definitely going to be, the old song says, it's going to take a miracle. All right, guys, I have to get a little breakfast and go back in. Thank you guys for supporting me. Today I'll be on Law and Crime. Oh, today I don't have a tie on. I call it dress down on Friday. So anyway, I'll be on Law and Crime at noon. I'll be on Dateline tomorrow. On Sunday at 2 o'clock, we're doing a show with the lawyer, the criminal lawyer, Calvin Johnson. Saturday, I have a body language expert coming on. A lot of good stuff. I'm going to start spending more time on my channel putting out information. I'm going to actually show you guys like what the exhibits are showing, and also video of people, places, and things, so you can almost see it from a better perspective. I don't see anybody doing that, so I'm going to raise the bar. Tonight I'll be putting together video, pictures, exhibits, all sorts of things to give you guys a better product. And I'm going to start from the beginning. I did not agree to do the documentary yet because I think there's a bigger lane here. And I'm here to take it. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for liking. Thanks for believing in the channel. And you guys are amazing. Thank you. Oh, and also shout out to my cousin Thomasine. I know you're watching. I appreciate you, cousin. Joe Flores, thanks for holding me down, man. Outside of this, you know what I'm saying? We friends in real life, you know. And a lot of times, just for the record, Joe will tell you, because we're Facebook friends, he kind of sees everything I do. We've been friends for like 20 years. But sometimes I'll say a black person, a white person. Joe, who is one of my best friends, is a white guy. So I'm not about color, but I do try to describe things to you. So don't get it twisted and think I have some issue with blacks or whites or whatever. It's not about color. It's all about us doing this thing together. Thank you.